All right, welcome back in the new session of Full Stack Developer course. And in this particular lesson, we're going to talk about the older web development process, the older stack of web development back in early 2000 and the end of the 2000 as well. And today, most of the people, most of the companies, they are also working on these projects, but they are becoming outdated, and that's called LAMP stack. That's what we're gonna see. But don't worry, if you are interested in learning the LAMP stack, we are also going to you are also going to get the LAMP stack course in this particular channel only. But this particular session, the full stack web development course, in this particular web development series, we are going to learn. We are not going to learn the old technologies, that the LAMP stack. But we are going to learn the MERN stack. I'll tell you everything about that later in this particular video as only. How developers were working in the early 2000 and in the 2000 till 2018, people were working on these stack. You might have heard about the terms full stack developer, front end developer, back end developer. Let's discuss these three things first, and then we'll come to the LAMP stack. See, the full stack developer means the person who is going to develop both, or a developer who is going to work on both front end and back end. Now, what is the front end? HTML, CSS, JavaScript, all these things. Front end means whatever the user see on the website, that's called front end. So whatever the designing and the things that the HTML part and the CSS, the JavaScript, the client side validations or forms, and the tables, the lists, all these things are whatever is being displayed on the website or on the front end, that's called front end. And the developer who does that part only is called front end developer. Now, what is back end? The back end means whatever is happening behind the scenes. So from the back end, the web developers who does all the coding on the back end, on the server side, whenever a browser sends a request to the server, so how does the server sends the file, and what files it should send on to the back to the browser, so the browser can display it on their front end. That codings, that particular rules will be decided by the backend developer, and they develop the backend things. So if we talk about one by one about the front end developer components, the HTML5, the CSS3, and the JavaScript, we have already seen in past videos that what are these files. And jQuery is actually a JavaScript library which made the things easier, or to code in JavaScript, that has been made easier by jQuery, because these are the libraries. By using these libraries, we can easily code the JavaScript, and we can put the validations on the website without even worrying about these browsers. How does the browser would behave, and how does these browsers will react. So this is what we what those problems have been solved in jQuery. Today, the jQuery has been outdated, because there are much more better technologies that can do the same thing that the JavaScript, that jQuery was doing. So this is not we are going to learn in this particular full stack web development course, but in another course we are definitely going to see what is jQuery and what other stuffs. So now let's come to the LAMP stack. LAMP stack, actually it is a backend development stack. LAMP stands for Linux, L for Linux, A for Apache, M for MySQL, and P for PHP. So the PHP was a language that was used to program the server side and how to talk to the database, and Apache we were using PHP language. Apache is the web server, it's a type of web server, and Linux will be the operating system. Servers are what? They are the computers, and Linux was the operating system which was used to install on the Apache server, and yeah, that's it. And PHP was the backend language, programming language that was used to program the server side, and also the PHP was used to communicate between the database and the server. So all these works were known as the backend development, and the developer who does all these things only, they are called backend developers. So the front end and backend developers. Who is full stack developer? The full stack developer is a person who does both of these things efficiently. Okay, I'm using the word efficiently means that you need not to know every single aspects of HTML5. Means if you see the documentation of the HTML5, the standard documentation, there are lots of things, there are worlds of things. You need not to remember it. So we will be we are not going to take any shortcuts, but we are also going to efficiently use our time. Right. So being an efficient web developer, you need not to learn or by heart each and every things that are in HTML or in each and everything, but you should just know how things work, so that if you find a solution on for any problem on Google, you would be able to understand the solution which you'll find on the web. So this is why the understanding is very much important here, not learning or getting by heart of everything which is in the documentation. Okay, so this was the lab stack, and we'll go let me open up another diagram. And in this diagram, as you can see, the diagram is similar except minor changes. Like here in place of jQuery we have React, and React is a very popular, modern, and very bigger than the biggest library of JavaScript. And by using React, we can make faster web applications, faster and beautiful web applications than what we would be making by using jQuery. That's why we replaced jQuery in this series, and we are going to learn React. Now if you talk about the backend developer stack, here we will learn Node server. We'll create Node server with the language Node.js. This is also a framework, or you can say the library of JavaScript, and Express.js is also a library of JavaScript that will be used to communicate between the Node servers and the database. And now again, in the database we have PostgreSQL and MongoDB. That's what we're gonna learn in this series. MySQL, as we saw in the previous diagram, the previous stack, there was MySQL. MySQL is still being used nowadays, but that's not that popular, and more and more startup projects and the companies, they are hiring for people who knows the NoSQL database. I'll tell you about the NoSQL database and MySQL. What is SQL database? So that is why these databases we will learn. So this is all about this history of the section. So now, after watching this video, we will end all the talking things, all the theory things actually, and from the next section we'll start coding. So stay tuned, and do like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe the channel, and push the bell icon so that you can be updated for our next upcoming videos.
That was all about this video. Please like and share this video and subscribe to Fees Club Academy. See you in the next video.